The craziest ways teachers lost their jobs. Story 1. Oh, wow. This one starts chaotic and then just keeps escalating like somebody forgot to take their foot off the gas pedal. You think you've reached the peak of the madness, and then the story says, nah, we got one more level. So it begins with a teacher going completely off the rails. Not yelling, not arguing, full berserk mode. He attacks a secretary, beats her badly enough to cause a neck injury. That alone is already emergency level, sirens and police territory. Then a security guard steps in, doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and catches a punch for their trouble. And instead of stopping there, this guy smashes his hand through a window like he's in an action movie audition. Nobody approved. Blood, broken glass, adrenaline, total chaos. Then he bolts back to his on-campus apartment, which is already giving off ominous, this situation is not over yet energy. At that point, administration basically says, you have 3 days. Pack up. Leave the country, which is already a wild sentence to hear in any workplace. But then, 3 days later, staff go into the apartment, expecting maybe abandoned clothes, trash, the usual mess someone leaves behind in a hurry. Instead, they find, well, evidence that makes everyone collectively recoil and go, yeah, we're not touching that. So what do? They haul the furniture out to a field and burn it. Not clean it. Not store it. Burn it. That's the kind of ending that feels surreal, like the final scene of a story people will still be telling years later with that same half-disbelieving tone. Did that really happen? Story 2. A 10-year-old girl throws away a hot dog because she can't finish it. Totally normal kid behavior. Cafeteria food, full stomach, whatever. And this VP decides the solution is to force her to eat it out of the trash. Not just tell her, not just scold her, physically clamp a hand over her mouth to make sure she swallows. That's the kind of moment where the room goes dead quiet, because it crosses from strict discipline into humiliation and control. And then comes the twist that feels straight out of a movie. Her father is the town's police chief. You can practically hear the collective intake of breath when that detail surfaced. Oh, yeah, this is not ending well for him. Sure enough, fired and arrested again. Another vice principal gone. Another scandal stapled to the school's reputation. And the aftermath? The school finally starts asking students if they want 1 hot dog or 2. That tiny policy change sitting there like a quiet admission. Yeah, maybe we should have thought this through before things got that far. Story 3. This one reads like the exact moment a situation goes from discipline problem to full-blown danger in about 10 seconds flat. The kind of story where everybody who heard it can still remember the sound. Chairs scraping, voices raised, that sudden spike of fear in the hallway. So you've got this science teacher, also the football coach, big presence, authority figure, probably used to being in control. And then there's the class clown, small kid, tiny for his age, pushing buttons all year long, cracking jokes, testing limits, doing that annoying but not dangerous stuff middle schoolers specialize in. Now, teachers deal with that every day. It's part of the job, but this time, something snapped. Between classes, the hallway noise suddenly shifts tone. Not chatter, not laughter, yelling. Then the sound of desks crashing over. That's when everyone nearby realizes this isn't normal frustration. This is rage. The kid bolts out of the classroom, scared enough to run. Not embarrassed. Not defiant, scared. He darts across the hall and hides behind another teacher, literally pleading for help. That image alone says everything. And then the coach storms in after him, face red, neck veins bulging, adrenaline pumping. You can practically feel the tension in the air, thick and electric. That second teacher stepping between them, that was the turning point. Real courage, right there. Calm voice, steady stance, physically putting herself in the middle to cool things down before something irreversible happened. Because honestly, without that intervention, yeah, the outcome could have been catastrophic. So, the next day, administration didn't drag it out. No long debate, no second chances. Turn in your resignation. One moment of uncontrolled anger can end a career and almost ruin a life in less time than it takes for a bell to ring. Story 4. Oh, man, this one is the kind of story that makes your stomach drop before the punchline even lands. Because from the jump, everybody already knew the rules. This kid had a documented medical condition, clear instructions, special permission, the whole system set up so he could leave immediately when nature called. And yet, there's always that one person who decides today is the day to flex authority for absolutely no reason. So picture it. He raises his hand, probably already nervous, trying to keep it together. "Can I go to the restroom?" And the teacher hits him with the classic power trip line, "You can wait." You can almost hear the internal panic ramping up, the leg bouncing, the quiet desperation, the clock moving at half speed, everyone in class sensing something is wrong, but not knowing how bad it's about to get. And then it happens. Right there, in class, that awful, humiliating moment where time just freezes. Chairs scraping, kids going silent. That heavy, uncomfortable hush filling the room while reality sets in. Not funny, not teasing material, just pure embarrassment for the kid, and honestly, anger bubbling up for everybody watching. Next thing you know, staff are blocking off the area. Custodial crew rolling in with gloves and disinfectant. The whole room smelling like industrial cleaner. Total shutdown. Total mess. All because someone ignored instructions that were crystal clear. And the parents? Oh, they came in hot. No backing down, no polite emails. This was full, "we are not letting this slide" mode. Meetings, complaints, escalation, whatever it took. So, when the teacher finally got fired, the reaction from a lot of people was probably the same blunt, relieved thought. Yeah, that consequence was earned. Story 5. This one has that one bad decision turns into 2, then 3, then career over energy. The kind where the original mistake was human, but the cover-up? That's what really sealed the deal. So picture the scene. Field trip day. Kids hyped, teachers counting heads, snacks everywhere, energy bouncing off the walls. End of the trip, everyone piles back onto the bus, and by the time they return to school, exhaustion hits. One kid knocks out cold in the back seat, full-on sleep mode, dead to the world. Totally believable. Field trips are basically controlled chaos. They unload the bus, kids scatter, noise everywhere, and somehow one student gets missed. Still asleep, still on the bus. Now, right there, that's already a serious mistake. Schools have headcount procedures for exactly this reason, but mistakes do happen. People are tired, distracted, overwhelmed. It's bad, but it's fixable. Here's where the story takes the sharp turn. Instead of immediately reporting it, owning the mistake, calling the office, making sure the kid is safe, she tries to talk the bus driver into keeping it quiet. Like, "Hey, just drop him off to me later so nobody finds out." And you can almost imagine the driver sitting there thinking, "Ma'am? Absolutely not." Because bus drivers know the rules. They carry responsibility for those kids the moment the wheels start rolling. If something happens, it's on them too. So he does exactly what he's supposed to do. Pulls into the school and reports it straight to the office. And that's the moment the situation goes from accident to accountability. You can almost hear the administrative reaction. "You left a child on the bus and then tried to hide it? Game over." Story 6. Woo. Yeah, this one's got that small town scandal energy where everybody knows exactly what happened, but nobody says it out loud in the hallways. Just whispers, side glances, and that weird silence when an adult walks by. So here's the situation. One of the coaches, grown man, authority figure, supposed to be the responsible one, ends up getting a student pregnant. Already bad. Like career ending, reputation nuking, call the lawyers level bad. But wait, because life apparently decided to stack the drama like pancakes, he'd also been messing around with the girl's gym teacher on the side. Yeah, whole secret relationship simmering in the background. And when the news broke, you could almost hear the emotional explosion from across campus. Not just anger, betrayal, humiliation, the whole messy cocktail. Administration probably scrambling behind closed doors, phones ringing, people saying, "We need to handle this discreetly," while the rumor mill outside spun at warp speed. Next thing you know, boom, 2 teachers gone at once. No farewell assembly, no goodbye cake in the staff lounge, just empty desks and awkward announcements about personnel changes. And the girl? She disappeared quietly, no big explanation. One day she's there, next day, poof. Family packed up, moved away, fresh start somewhere else. Her brother still in your grade for a minute, probably carrying that heavy, uncomfortable attention nobody wants. Then they left too. Story 7. Alright, this one starts off sounding like your standard small-town gossip with popcorn situation, and then it takes a hard left into "what are you doing, sir" territory. So yeah, the coach gets fired for sleeping with the most popular girl in the senior class. Whole school buzzing, parents whispering, teachers pretending they're shocked, but also low-key not surprised. And technically, sure, she was 18, and he was like 25, legally adult. Yeah, but everybody still felt that weird, uncomfortable vibe. The kind where you go, okay, maybe not illegal, but definitely not a great look, my guy. It was a full-blown scandal. Hallway conversations, group chats lighting up, people saying, "Did you hear?" every 5 minutes. Classic drama. You'd think that would be the end of his chapter. Fade to black, cautionary tale, roll credits. But nah. Fast forward 2 years. Life's moved on, school's in the rearview mirror, and then, out of nowhere, Facebook notification, friend request from the former coach, already suspicious, already giving off that "why are you here" energy, and then, boom, no hello, no "how have you been?" No small talk, just straight up, wildly inappropriate behavior right off the rip. Like he logged in and chose chaos as a lifestyle. You can practically hear the reaction in real time. "Brew, what are you doing? Who raised you?" Immediate block. Zero hesitation. Digital door slammed shut. Story 8. So picture the timeline. COVID era, rules everywhere, masks, testing, distancing, the whole checklist. School's trying to keep the lights on while everyone's stressed, tired, and arguing about what's reasonable. And then you've got this teacher who plants his flag hard. No mask. No testing. Not doing it. That stubborn, dug-in energy. The kind where people around him are thinking, "Please just cooperate so we can all move on." Administration suspends him. Technically not fired, just benched. A disciplinary timeout, basically. At that point, it probably felt like another workplace dispute, another chapter in the endless COVID arguments. People picking sides, debating policies in staff rooms and Facebook comments, and then the story takes that sharp, sobering turn. He gets sick, really sick, and before the suspension even ends, he dies. That's the moment the whole narrative changes tone. The arguments stop sounding loud and righteous, and everything gets quiet. Because suddenly, it's not about rules anymore. It's about mortality, about how fast things can escalate when a risk turns real. And then there's that extra layer, the former teacher, family friend, refusing to attend the funeral, which probably stirred its own storm of judgment and whispers. Some people thinking it was disrespectful, others quietly understanding that grief, anger, fear, and frustration all mixed together in messy ways, especially after years of tension and disagreement. Man, nobody won here. Story 9. This dude was basically running a side quest instead of a classroom. Like, no joke, he somehow survived scandals that would have nuked anybody else's career. Rumors flying about cheerleaders showing up at football parties acting like a 35-year-old linebacker who never left high school, allegedly passing around, party favors. And the public urination incident behind a bar? B-row. That alone should have been the season finale. But nah. What finally took him down, drumroll please, was paperwork. Plain, boring, soul-sucking paperwork. They moved his classroom over the summer, cracked open his desk, and bam, mountain of dusty finals and essays just sitting there like forgotten leftovers in the back of the fridge. Turns out my man never graded a single thing, just eyeballed us like, "Yeah, you feel like a B- today. I mean, honestly, respect the audacity. Zero effort, maximum chaos. But also, sir, you had one job." Thanks for watching. Seriously appreciate you being here. If any story made you go, "What?" hit like, drop your thoughts below, and stick around, because the next one gets even crazier.